From scary ghosts to haunted palaces, stay tuned to number 1 to find out about an entire race of people that may have never existed. Number 10. Kaimuki House of Horrors. This is one of the most famous spooky places in Hawaii because, according to all accounts, it's the most haunted one. It's located in a residential part of Honolulu called Kaimuki, right on the corner of 8th and Harding. Judging by its appearance, the house looks completely normal. Nothing strange or spooky, but there's more to it than that. There is a legend that an evil ghost lives in the house and that it's a Kasha, a Japanese ghost destined to feed on the blood of corpses. Throughout the years, many people have come to this house either to live in it permanently or rent it for vacations, but they were all terrified. There were strange noises, screams, but even worse things than that. In 1942, police were called to the house when a woman was screaming, "She's trying to take my children," and the policemen saw the children being thrown around by some invisible presence. And this is just one of the instances when supernatural forces were at work in the Kaimuki house. No one's sure what the cause of it all is, but many people speculate that it all started when a man killed his wife and 2 children in the house. His wife and son were found buried in the backyard, but the daughter was lost forever. Number 9. Kamehamehas Bones. Kamehameha is one of the most important and most celebrated rulers of Hawaii. He is also known as Kamehameha the Great because he unified the separated islands of Hawaii into a single state. Kamehameha died in 1819, but his exact burial place is still kept secret. The ancient Hawaiians had developed a system of burial rituals, but they were not the same for all people. The funeral rites that were used for higher-ups such as chiefs were much more complex, and they had an additional aura of solemnity to them. After the funeral rites, Kamehameha's bones were hidden, never to be found. But this was not done simply to prevent anyone from finding the late ruler's bones. It was also part of a bigger custom called hunakele. The word hunakele can be translated as hiding in secret, and the idea behind it was to prevent an enemy from getting the deceased bones, thus absorbing his power called mana. It is still not known where Kamehameha's bones are, but many believe that they are buried in a sacred cave on the Big Island. Number 8. Old Pauli Road. This is one of those places full of supernatural stories and haunted legends. Nowadays, the road gave way to a modern highway, but the legends and spooky stories are still here. Throughout the years, there have been many sightings of supernatural beings and many strange accidents occurred. Many of those accidents are still unexplained. There were people who have seen strange-looking beings resembling a ghost that was crossing the road and surprising the oncoming drivers. Another very interesting fact is that near this road, there is a place called Nu'uanu Pali Lookout, which is one of the most important locations in Hawaiian history. Nu'uanu Pali is where King Kamehameha fought a major battle during the struggle for Hawaiian unification. On this location, there is also a ghostly creature roaming about at night, haunting everyone who comes near it. Number 7. The Haunted Iolani Palace. This is one of the most haunted places on the island of Oahu, as many people have claimed all kinds of supernatural occurrences there. These things have become so common that nobody seems to notice them anymore. The Iolani Palace is home of the Hawaiian monarchy, and thousands of people come to visit it every year. It is located in downtown Honolulu, and to this day, there are all kinds of spooky stories going on there. Everyone from palace guards to tourist guides and even tourists have claimed that very strange things are happening inside the Iolani Palace. For example, there is a piano in the palace that's always kept locked in a glass case. However, although security guards do not have a key to this glass case, they can often hear the piano being played at night. It's never a melody or a chord, but a random sequence of notes, one after the other, in no particular order. When they tried to capture this on the security cameras, they were amazed. The piano keys were not moving, but the music kept being played. And this is just one of those supernatural things Iolani is famous for. Number 6. Nahuakai o Kapo. Nahuakai o Kapo, or the Night Marchers, are ancient warriors from the supernatural world. According to some native Hawaiians, They are called that because they obviously move by night, visiting such places as cemeteries, old battlegrounds, and temples or sacred sites which predate Christianity. After the sun goes down, the night marchers go out with their torches and weapons and move around the Hawaiian Islands, announcing themselves with their drum beats and creepy chants. The primary purpose of these supernatural beings is to help their kinsmen move to the world of the dead, and they are known to walk around houses, buildings, streets, and more. According to the local belief, it is bad luck if you happen to see the night marchers. If you do meet them and set your eyes upon them, death will instantly strike you. That is why the night marchers carry out the practice of warning the common folk with their chants and drumming. If a commoner somehow doesn't hear their noise and meets them, he or she should immediately cover their eyes and lie face down. Before we move along, be sure to like this video and subscribe to Zero to Hero. It helps to ensure that some strange spirits won't come looking for you. Number 5. Kaena Point Portal. The literal translation of the word Kaena in the Hawaiian language would be glowing hot or red hot, and Kaena Point is located on the northwestern part of the island of Oahu. There is a state park of the same name there, but it is so remote that there are no actual roads by which you can use to get there. The only way you can access it is if you hike there. This is perhaps why Kaena Point became the stuff of legend and mystery. Hawaiian folklore holds a special place for this mystical location, as it is a place where the souls come to travel to the other world. When a person dies, the soul of that person finds its way to this point and takes off. And if a soul of a deceased doesn't manage to find its way to the other world, it will get stuck, forced to roam the Hawaiian landscapes forever, unless it somehow finds its way home. Number 4. Green Lady of Wahiawa. This is a shapeshifter, originally from Japanese folklore which became part of Hawaiian legends. She is covered in scales and green mold, and the local residents refer to her as the Green Lady. This being is usually seen wandering around the Wahiawa Gulch, and there is a backstory to this. She was once a human being, living in the same area. She also had children, but one day one of her children got lost and she wasn't able to find it. Sad because of her loss, the woman died of heartbreak and continued to wander around the Wahiawa region searching for her lost child. There is a legend that the Green Lady will grab and take any child she sees, claiming it for one of her own. Travelers, beware. Number 3. Choking Ghost. In Oahu, there have been numerous sightings of a supernatural being called the Choking Ghost. No one is sure whether it's one and the same ghost or several of them. But what matters is that these things have happened for a long time. One of the most frequent locations is the Kakuako station belonging to the Honolulu Fire Department, as this is where the Choking Ghost has appeared the most. Several firemen have reported the same thing happening to them. They feel like they're being choked in the dead of night, with a strange force pressing them upon their chest. No such occurrence has resulted in death, and they are quite brief, but people are still worried, and for good reason, that there are supernatural beings around here. No one is sure who or what these beings might be. One explanation, though, is that it could be the souls of firemen who died as a result of suffocation, and they come to warn or frighten their living companions. Number 2. Shark Man. The Shark Man is another shape-shifting being, the child of the Shark King and Kale, a human. The legend has it that the mother wanted to protect her child and keep meat away from it so that it didn't become a bloodthirsty man-eater. However, she only managed to do so until the child reached adolescence. As soon as the boy came of age, his life changed, and he started eating with men instead of his mother. That's when he developed his hunger for meat, but animal meat wasn't enough for him and he started hunting humans. The perfect way to get human flesh is to shapeshift into a shark and grab whomever was swimming nearby. But the locals didn't want to give up without fighting, so they decided to strike back. They managed to find the Shark Man, cut him into pieces, burned his remains, and chanted magic spells over those remains. But they couldn't destroy its spirit. And it's said that the ghost of Sharkman still inhabits the Kaneana cave, which has a passage to the sea. Sharkman still lures his victims inside, dragging them to the bottom of the sea to devour them. Number 1. Many Hooni. Many Hooni are small, dwarf-like people who are said to live on the Hawaiian Islands, deep in the forest and in some distant valleys. According to the legend, their favorite food is fish and bananas, and they have been living on Hawaii ever since time began. Many Hooni are fantastic craftsmen, and they are able to build all kinds of things, including houses, temples, boats, and more. Even today, there are still structures which are attributed to the craft of the many Hooni. It is still not certain when the legend of this dwarf people came into being, as there are some scholars who think that the actual legend was created much later, after the first contact with the European settlers. To this day, no evidence of such a small race of people has ever been found, so there is plenty of room for doubt whether this is just folklore or historical fact. However, the stories of the many Hooni linger on. Tell us what you think about these legends of Hawaii in the comments below, and take care.